Hello everyone, this is Peter once again, and today, as you can see, I'm getting really excited. I'm having a really interesting video for you about 5 things I wish I knew earlier about martial arts. So, in this video we're going to talk about some things that I learned later on in my journey and I wish I knew them at the beginning already. So, number one is you don't have to be scared. So at the beginning I was really anxious and scared for many different reasons. First reason, well, I'm a skinny guy, so I thought, well, there are going to be a lot of big guys, they will blow me away and I will be hurt a lot if I start some random fighting sports thingy. Yeah? And it turned out, well, you cannot really get hurt that much if you're having a good gym, good partners and a community that cares for each other. And I got less hurt there, less injuries than I had in my years before, where I did some normal sports like rock climbing or something, or way less injuries than playing soccer. So it's really, I was surprised by it, how little injuries there were. Yeah, it's also because people are talking to each other. Well, we are doing martial arts here, and if we are hitting each other in the face, and we all have real jobs, and there will be questions, so this will make a bad image. So everyone's looking out for each other. So that's really something that surprised me, and I was happy about it, since I was really scared about being hurt, as I'm quite fragile compared to maybe some other guys. I think that's also some of the fears that maybe some smaller guys could have, or some girls could have, which are not so muscular. So you don't have to care about that. If you have the right gym, and check out the correct gym, check out my video on that one, and then you can just go there with no worries. My second thing I learned was, well, learning can be fun. That's something I did not know from school or from studying, because their learning was always hard and it was no fun, and I had to work hours. And what did I learn for? Yeah, well, I learned for some tests or some degrees or something like this. And yes, you have a goal, but yeah, it's just filling ends means sometimes. And I always felt like, well, learning new things has to be a chore. Yeah, and so I thought, well, maybe going into this and starting at absolutely zero, with zero experience in any fighting sport, I went in and was like, well, let's give it a try. Maybe it's really hard, maybe it's not so fun, but I will crush through it. And after the first weeks, I immediately learned, well, this is fun, I'm having fun testing those techniques, those exercises with a partner, and I was like, well, let's learn more, let's learn the new exercise, and let's perfect the exercise and work on every small detail that I missed. And I was like so overwhelmed by it that I always wanted to learn more, that after some time I changed my trainings course and went onto a fast track one where I trained like, don't know, like 6-7 hours a week at least. And yeah, because it was so much fun, and I was quite surprised by that. If I had known that before, then obviously I would have joined earlier as well, or started earlier, so to say. Then the third thing I wish I knew was other great things that came out of it, like the pleasure of teaching. As I grew more experienced, I myself got the honor to give my wisdom to newer people who were then less experienced than me, and I was able to teach someone else and show them some techniques and talk with them about it. learn it again for me while explaining. I have to understand it more in detail and to be able to answer their questions. And that's something that really something that I enjoyed. And I was like, well, this teaching thing is really fun, and I like helping someone else, and they are happy that they are learning something new. As I had just mentioned, learning is fun as well, getting new things to learn. And yeah, that's something that I really enjoy, and I would like to go on and basically teach forever, and maybe someday I can live based off teaching. So yeah, that's really something I did not know earlier. And if I knew, well, if I start this journey and then this is where I'm ending, then I would have really started earlier, since I only started some years ago. So better to start late than never. So yeah, that's that point. Point number 4 is something I mentioned in my first video I made in this channel as well, is that I did not know that you learn other things than martial arts in the martial arts training. So basically I learned a lot about respect and gratitude. Yeah. So respect is really something that is higher up the list if you're learning something, and if you're having someone that's your teacher and you're really showing them respect, not like some lesson basically in school where, well, there's a teacher and he's teaching you because he has to, it's his job, and you're listening to it because, well, you have to, but you're not really respecting the teacher. Here, the teacher is someone who has a lot of experience and knowledge that you want to participate in and learn from him, and you're paying him that he teaches you. So, but therefore goes a lot of respect. So if he teaches you something, you will be very humble and be very grateful for it, and you will show him lots of respect. The more he will teach you, and he will be more eager and happy to teach you the things if you respect him and his teachings and be humble. So that's something I really learned. And on the other hand, I also got respected by getting the possibility to teach myself. So that's something that's really also in there. The whole thing that's outside of the physical, like gratitude, respect, really something you learn to love, and something that you will take away also in your daily private life outside of martial arts, maybe in your job, in your relationship, in your family life. So it's really nice to know how to respect people. So the last one, maybe something that was always bothering me in the beginning, was like I had so many questions like, well, what happens later on in the training? What happens in this situation, in this situation? So the last point I want to make is, a lot of the questions you are having at the beginning, they will resolve themselves later on. So basically what I want to say is, do not be worried. I was way too worried at the beginning that things are not really working. Well, I think everyone has to be a little bit skeptical if he's learning something, and that's totally okay. But I was really skeptical because I'm an analytical person, so I was like, well, okay, but if I do this move and he does that move, and well, now we are practicing, I come with this move, yeah, but what if I now in this position do something else, like this move, yeah, and the other person was always saying like, well, that's something that it's hard to understand now, or well, this is not part of this exercise, it would be another exercise, and yes, we can do this, but then we are learning something else. So basically it was like, well, you can go anywhere from anywhere, and if you're starting here and you're going with the mind game, what happens if I do this and that and that, yeah, then you will never finish any training curriculum or exercise that really gives the basis to you to later combine those things and act freely on them and combine them without thinking in your subconscious mind. So and that's where we want to go anyways. So those questions, they resolve themselves. And then a lot of other questions I had in the beginning, they also resolve themselves, like, well, now if I'm holding your force here and I'm holding this pressure here and I'm taking this angle here, so what happens now, and why do I feel this pressure here? Shouldn't I feel it there? And isn't that angle a little bit off? And you're always like, well, it's hard to tell because you have to feel it yourself. Everyone is different, different height, different sizes, different muscle, different strengths, different structure, different paths in your learning, in your understanding. So it's really hard to understand all of those things that are going into how it should feel and what exactly is wrong about something. And maybe the other person can't even understand your problem because he can't feel it and he can't see it, and he's so much further away from you that he doesn't even get your point, because it's so many years for him to be remotely in that position, and nowadays for him it doesn't even matter anymore because it's subconscious, and you just train that and you feel how it feels. So basically, I spent in total too much time on asking detailed questions when I should focus on more learning and just doing and practicing and having the questioning maybe outside of the training sessions and try to work it out on a different level. So yeah, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Just take the answers as they come as well. So trust your experienced colleagues and teachers to know that if they say, well, that's not important now, or you will learn that later, or that's wrong, forget that, you will understand later. Just trust them on this, and you will find out later. So yeah, so I think those sums up all of those 5 points I wish I knew earlier at the beginning of my training journey on martial arts. So now you know them and you can take them with you on your starting journey and progress even faster. So show me in the comments which part of it you enjoyed the most, or which mistake you made as well on your journey.